So you're creating a pitch deck in the hope that you'll secure funding. To make the best possible impression when pitching to potential investors, you need to convince them that you have a great solution to a pressing industry issue and that you're the right people to do it. Your challenge is to tell a story that presents your ideas and your company in a way that does this. About me, I've worked in public relations and corporate communications for over 20 years, helping manage the global reputations of companies of all sizes. I've also had the privilege to work with a number of startups, helping shape how they present themselves to the world. It's ultimately about how you shape perception, and much of this work is storytelling. That is, how to get the right message to the right audience by the most effective means possible. And as part of this work, I've seen many pitch decks. And I've noticed that even the smartest startup CEOs often don't present themselves in the best way. Here are the top 10 most common communications mistakes that I've seen. Let's be realistic about what you're trying to do with a pitch meeting. You're trying to get another meeting. In that way, it's a bit like a first date. So don't bore them. Your objective is to get them interested in what you have to offer and leave them wanting to find out more. So, mistake number 1. And if you only do one of these things, make it this one. You want to get to the point fast. If you're 5 slides into your presentation and you haven't explained what you do yet, you've already lost your audience. Hit them with the problem you're solving, your solution and the so what and financial impact right up front. Don't waste half a presentation explaining the opportunity. Cut to the chase. Number 2. Each VC has a different focus, so make sure that your pitch effectively shows why you're a good fit. It'll be obvious to them if you've taken a one-size-fits-all approach, and this might make them think that you haven't done your research in terms of whether you might be a good fit for one another. Many startups emerge from academic research or from many years of dedication to a specialist field. And when you've been immersed so completely in a subject, it's easy to forget that not everyone has the same context or knows things that you might think are obvious. So, when pitching, make it clear what the significance of your product, service, or unique selling proposition is, particularly when it relates to highly involved technology. You have to explain the context. Don't make them ask, because they probably won't. So remember, you're talking to professional investors. While they might not have your experience in brain surgery, rocket science, AI, or robotics, they do have a great deal of background and context about your industry. If they regularly invest in your field, don't waste time setting the scene, telling them what they already know. Do your research and focus on what you bring to the table that's different. It's understandable that you don't want to give away all your hard-earned knowledge, but you do need to share enough of your brilliant idea or design to validate that your idea or business is investable. And back it up. Any and all evidence that your product, solution, or idea does what you claim will support your pitch. A prototype is worth 1,000 words. And if you can't prove that your invention is real, the assumption will be that it's still vaporware. You want to give context to what you do, but you want to avoid doing it in the same way that everyone else does. Saying you plan to be the Uber of X or the Airbnb of Y is a bit of a turn-off, not least of all because that's almost always unrealistic. Now, don't get me wrong, facts and figures are fantastic, but too much detail too soon can lead to overwhelm. Ultimately, our brains remember stories better than facts, so aim to capture the imagination of your audience and help them relate that story to their own ideas and experience. Consider sharing the experience through the eyes of a named individual. What does their experience look like now? What are the downsides? What will it look like thanks to your business? Who exactly are your customers? How will you find them? And what exactly is your business model? You might have a brilliant idea, but you need to show how there'll be enough income to deliver a return to investors, and that it's not just a lifestyle venture. This is where the numbers come in. Aim to demonstrate that you're on top of your finances, and be specific. What's your margin? What percentage growth have you had? Investors invest in people, not just ideas. Of course, you need to demonstrate that you have a great business idea that not only solves a pressing problem, but that can also make money. But you also need to demonstrate that you and your team are uniquely positioned to make it work. You might have spent hours slaving over a hot PowerPoint presentation, but it's all in the delivery. Most VC meetings aren't long, so you need to succinctly and clearly describe what you do. Remember to try out your pitch on someone who isn't already familiar with your business. Remember that you have a short amount of time to get across what makes your idea investable. The job of your pitch deck is to capture the imagination and leave your audience wanting more detail. So keep it succinct, but be ready for questions. Good luck.